I played in that Stockton Malone era somewhat, but sometimes we don't go further past before that. And it's nice to do that because this year that we're talking about was a groundbreaking year. It was that first playoff season for the Utah Jazz. And that's significant. You know, the kids may not remember it. They may have to Google it and say, well, who was Darryl Griffith? Who was Adrian Dantley? That was very significant for this organization and how things really came together following.
Dantley's got to take it. He drives the lane. Left-hand layup. Good.
We're going to have a good time, and we're going to party all night long.
Griffith drive the paint. Slam dunk. The golden grip.
Me and the Jazz are going to party all night long.
Ricky Green behind the back dribble. He's in. He scores.
Tonight's going to be an all-time party all night long.
Now to Dantley. Back to Thurl. Slam dunk.
This is going to be the best party we ever had, and we're going to party all night long.
Welcome to a special edition of SportsBeat. 30 years ago today, the Utah Jazz defeated the San Diego Clippers 113-94 and clinched the first division title in franchise history. Now, a division title doesn't seem like that big of a deal today, but for a team that suffered through years of losing, it was a significant accomplishment. It kept the Jazz here in Utah and built the foundation for future success. During the next half hour, members of that 1983-84 Utah Jazz team will share their story. A team fans will always remember as the team with heart.
Now we've played very good. Very good. We're going to play better.
Before the 1983-84 season, times were tough for the Utah Jazz. The team averaged just 27 wins during their first 4 seasons in Utah. They were the laughingstock of the NBA.
It was ugly. I mean, it was the 2 worst years in sports for me. Was my first 2 years here in Utah.
You got 1 foul. Go use it up. Come on. We'll get you back in there. Come on.
Your heart was always in your mouth. All right. We had times when, you know, we had the first round pick and we took Dominic Wilkins, you know, and he didn't want to come here, so we had to sell his rights to get cash. We needed cash and to pay our bills, to pay our players, to pay our help. And so it was hand to mouth for a long time.
But you just got to deal with the situation mentally and just go out and give 100% and try to improve yourself and the team, and hopefully you get the breaks and someday, you know, try to make the Jazz out of one.
I've seen the struggle. I've been through the struggle. I've been through the times where we had fans at the games with sacks on their heads and their eyes cut out, and the threatening of moving the franchise.
I wake up at night screaming, figuring that I'm going to be 0-82.
The Jazz were also among the bottom in the NBA in attendance. Revenue was scarce, and relocation was quickly becoming a possibility.
I think it would be hard for people now to believe that we were that fragile. We were at a crossroads. Were the Jazz going to stay here, or were they going to go? If we had had another poor season, 25, 30 wins or something, I think the Jazz could have very well been history.
Las Vegas is a gambler's paradise, but when the Jazz opted to move 11 home games to this city, they did not consider it a gamble.
We tried to play some regular season games in Vegas. Not sure how well that worked out, not too well.
We need a revenue base because we do not have cable television within the Salt Lake market. We feel by playing games down here will add additional revenue to the franchise.
What was it like playing in Vegas?
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome, man. I was like, this is great, you know. No, Vegas was fun.
Make the drive. Now drive. Loop it up. Yeah!
You know, we almost moved there. That was the purpose of going down there, really. You know, just test the market.
It was like playing 11 more road games, and yet I think we managed to win 5 or 6 of those games.
Desperation would soon be replaced with excitement. The roster Frank Layden assembled quickly developed chemistry. The team picked again to finish last became the biggest surprise in the NBA.
We only had 3 rules: be on time, and play hard, and play smart. And they did that.
We had very, very good players. Adrian Dantley.
Dantley's got to take it. He drives the lane. Left-hand layup. Good.
We knew that in order for us to have a chance to win, he had to have the ball in his hand a lot.
Up throw, Bailey, bounce low to Dantley. He's got it. Lean in. Score it. Adrian Dantley.
When Dantley got up in the morning, he got the newspaper and he read about every team in the league. He knew what everybody was scoring. He knew what everybody was doing, who was winning, who was losing, why they were losing. And he was a student of the game.
He would get you up in there with that pump fake, and then he'd maneuver himself to the hoop and find a way to get to the free throw line. There aren't really any players like him anymore.
Griffith drive the paint, slam dunk, the golden grip.
Daryl Griffin.
He's done it all.
You look at your watch and you count the seconds it took for his shot to get to the rim, shooting it from the parking lot.
Three-pointer for the parking lot. Parking lot. Three-pointer from Section J.
He told me, he said, hey, you can shoot that ball from out there. You can make it consistent. He said, we're going to start using that line. He said, that line is out there for a reason. He said, we're going to take advantage of it.
Three-pointer for the parking lot. Yes! Go, Griffith!
So I went from making 10 the previous year, 10 the whole season, to making 90. And then next year, 91.
And yet you always hear Nixon and Cheeks and what have you, and very seldom do you hear Ricky.
Ricky Green, fastest of them all.
Ricky Green, behind the back dribble. He's in. He scores.
Fastest guy I've ever been around. And I was pretty fast, but it wasn't even close.
Ricky Green's job was penetration, get us up the floor as fast as we could see how many easy baskets we could get off a fast break.
Anticipation was super.
Brains down court, picked up by Ricky Green.
Understanding of the game. Never turned it over.
Corner to Ricky Green, he's open, 18-footer by Ricky's on the way, yes.
When he learned to hit that 18, 19-foot jump shot, it was over then. You know, people could not stay in front of him, and he was the all-star that he was from there on out.
Down to Robert Terry's jumper is up, blocked by Eaton and pulled down by Daryl Griffith.
Mark Eaton, the last line of defense.
Incredible dedication that Mark Eaton put into his summer, where he was not ready to be an NBA player in 82, 83. He stayed here in Salt Lake, and Phil Johnson and him worked him to the bone, and he became a formidable physical presence, and it just anchored our defense.
That changed the game. That was the key. That's what initiated the fast break, all the shot blocks and all the altered shots, not just the four he blocked, but the ones that Mark altered were huge.
We have selected from the NCAA Championship North Carolina State team, Thurl Bell.
Drafting Thurl, who could guard the three men and have great size and be able to affect shots.
Now to Danley, back to Thurl, slam dunk.
I had that winning attitude, and I brought that into a situation that was looking for that.
Drew drives by Bird, leap and lean, score it.
John Drew off the bench.
Yelly lobs it down low right to Drew. He'll lean in, put it up and in. John Drew.
John Drew had been an all-star. Rich Kelly had led the league in rebounding. Were willing to come off the bench because they thought that in that role they helped the team to win.
We had specific roles to play, and we played them well.
There it is. Good night.
Frank Layden and his assistants Phil Johnson and Scott Layden found a way to accentuate the strengths of each player on the roster and produce an exciting brand of basketball.
Well, this was a team that stayed healthy, they worked hard, and they liked each other.
Frank and Phil and little Scotty, it was so much fun. It was a family atmosphere. It was a college atmosphere from day one.
Shot selection with the Jazz became very, very important. Something like Moneyball, you know. We wanted productivity for, opportunities was very important. I think we might have been a little bit ahead of our time in doing those kind of statistics.
And Frank said, no, we're going to play defense first. We're going to stop the other team, and then we're going to run on opportunity. I want to produce 60% of the points off the fast break. Phil Johnson did an excellent job of taking the players that he had and designing an offense that accentuated the positives that each of us had as players. And it became a fun brand of basketball to watch. It was fun to play. It was really fun to play.
We could score the ball, and that was a factor. And in today's game, golly, 120 points is unheard of, and we averaged like 118.
Suddenly, the Jazz were not only fun to watch.
Down the alley, underhand scoop, it's good.
They were winning.
Frank injected a spirit of us that, have fun and win. You could compete with anybody if you play together and play hard.
An amazing knack of knowing when to look you in the eye and tell you that you had to do a better job, but also lightening the mood and not getting too serious about yourself and trying to enjoy it along the way.
And saying things like, I'd rather lose the game by 2 points instead of 3. And we'd say, well, why? He said, because 2 points is closer to winning.
Frank continued to always harp on us being part of something bigger than yourself. And that was truly the key.
The Jazz proved their coach to be right. They beat Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. They went on the road and beat the Lakers at the Forum for the very first time.
And I think it was a game where a lot of us started to finally believe that maybe we could be a good team.
You know, being that team does something for you. It kicks you up a notch, gives you more respect. I remember when we won that game, it's like winning a national title.
We just started to believe in ourselves, and we started winning games that we normally didn't win, and it just started to get to the point to, like, we're in the hunt. You know, we're good, we can play. You know, when we go to the Lakers, we can beat you. Boston comes in town, we can beat you.
Green down the middle, running hook shot, go!
They finished 11-2 in the month of December. They won 8 in a row and 13 out of 14. The Jazz had the best record in the West at the All-Star break.
The first month was just fabulous because everyone expected us to be terrible. We were picked last in the league, and we were leading the league, the division the whole way through. And it was fun. It was just a pure fun joyride.
Winning creates a buzz, and we were creating the buzz. And we was going from 3,000 people in the stands to 6,000, to 6,000, to 8,000, to selling out. You know, it was just a gradual thing over the season, and everybody's like, let me get a part of this buzz. What's going on with the Utah Jazz? And the simple thing, we were winning.
Man, I remember those Salt Palace days, man, when the fans started coming. You know, they started coming and they started cheering, and these fans expect a good show tonight.
What we had to do was win. There's no bad cities, there's only bad teams. And now we were proving that not only were we a good team, but we had promise for the future. I think the best way it could be put was the Jazz became family with the city, with this state.
Ricky Beers left, pull up on the base, follow away 15-footer, good!
The league started to take notice, and the Jazz were rewarded.
This guy can flat sky and is not afraid to go over anyone.
Darryl Griffith participated in the slam dunk contest. Adrian Dantley and Ricky Green were named All-Stars.
I hope I play real well, and looking forward to it.
I'm just going to go out and play hard. I know I'm not going to play a lot of minutes because there's so many great players.
We had a couple of laughs. I told a couple of jokes to them.
Frank Layden coached the West All-Stars.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to you as far as your career.
No.
The most fun thing?
Well, no. My honeymoon was a lot of fun. All right. But next to that, it was good.
And was eventually named NBA Coach and Executive of the Year.
I thought it was humorous when I got the call from the NBA telling me that I was Coach of the Year, and 5 minutes later, Barbara had me putting the garbage out.
And I'm convinced that when the great list of coaches is finally read, Frank Layden is going to be right there listening.
Frank would always tell us, like, you know, if you guys will kind of stop competing with each other and cooperate more and trust each other more, the individual honors will show up. And in fact, they did. And I'm not sure we always believed him, but at the end of the year, wow, I mean, look at the honors that team produced in terms of Coach of the Year, statistical leaders in the NBA, 4 different players in their respective categories. To set the stage for years to come of what the Jazz were known for.
With the night's victory, the Jazz have clinched the team's first ever playoff berth.
The team accomplished much more than their first playoff berth. On April 12, 1984, they defeated the San Diego Clippers 113-94 and clinched the Midwest Division title.
You know, when we clinched it, it was just unbelievable because we were picked last.
When we won the Midwest Division Championship, I think the way they celebrated, let the fans know, let the players know, this is a taste of winning. This is what it's like.
To come in first, to beat all the teams that we had to beat to come in first was just an accomplishment for the Utah Jazz. In a small little town, small little market, small little Salt Palace, you know, they're no good. We'll come in and mop them up and move on our merry way, and that's what people expected until, you know, we started putting 120 points on them and they were having a hard time beating us.
When they brought the banner down, you know, to look up and say, you know, now we're relevant. You know, now we're going to be taken serious. Now we can compete and we can go out and get draft picks and make people want to play for the Jazz so we can win championships. The 83-84 team was the foundation to future success of the Utah Jazz.
How do you think they'll do in the playoffs?
I hope they go all the way. I don't know if they will or not, but I hope they go at least a few rounds.
The Jazz faced the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the 1984 NBA playoffs. a veteran team led by Dan Issel, Alex English, and Kiki Vandeweghe. The experienced Nuggets stole Game 2 at the Salt Palace. They would beat the Jazz on their home floor in Game 3 to take a 2-1 lead in their best-of-5 series. Denver Post columnist Woody Page wrote off the Jazz.
Woody Page wrote that little thing about the Jazz have no heart.
It kind of got personal at that point. And I don't mind, reporters being critical, but we didn't have heart. What he was saying is we didn't have character.
It became something that was hung on the locker room wall.
The fans, they ate up that, We put out something about the Jazz has heart that year. I think it was a theme going into the playoffs. So all that was induced by how much the fans cared.
It added a fun element to professional basketball or professional sports that you don't normally see.
The team embraced it, and then we come back for that last game, and everybody's got their heart signs out and singing heart songs, Heartbreak Hotel and everything else.
You could see the community really wanting or longing after years and years of what they were getting for a team to support.
To Griff, three-pointer, no. Base right to throw, shot up. Yes! The Jazz take the lead.
The Jazz stunned the Nuggets on the road in Game 4.
2 seconds, one. She's history. The Jazz have won it. The final score, Utah 129, Denver 124. We're coming home for Game 5.
The series shifted back to the Salt Palace for Game 5. The Jazz defeated Denver 127-111.
And it really inspired us, and I think really brought the city and team together in one cause to win that game, and really propelled us into an excellent series against the Phoenix Suns in the second round.
Angle left, no good. Rebound tipped away by Wilkins and Kelly. It goes to Griff. Griff down the middle. Underhand scoop. Yeah!
That was a great series.
Down low post they go. Right side of Nance. Back to Davis up top. 20-footer by the Greyhound. Good.
Once again, the Jazz found themselves down 2-1 in a playoff series. They needed to win Game 4 in Phoenix to even the series. They led by 3 with just seconds left when the Suns' Walter Davis sent the game to overtime.
Davis, three-pointer.
He got it!
Walter Davis was unbelievable.
It's the first time I was like, overmatched a little bit. That was the first time to where when I was really trying and the team defense, and we could not slow that guy down. He was really good.
Adrian Dantley scored 37 points for the Jazz. The team went back and forth in overtime. The Suns took a 1-point lead with just seconds left. Frank Layden drew up the perfect play for the game winner.
Scott will guard the inbounds man. Green.
Just went over the heel of the rim, and I can see that like it was yesterday.
When I took off, I was indecisive whether to lay it in the rim or lay it on the board, and I think if I had to do it all over again, I would have dunked the ball.
If you're in sports and look back at a moment and say, what if? What if I'd have made this shot, or what if we'd have made this free throw? And that's a what-if moment going further in the playoff when Ricky missed that layup.
You can't just say it came down to one last play. That was luck, that's all.
After such a painful loss, the team could have given up, but they showed the toughness and confidence they had gained during the season.
Win this one, and I guarantee you'll be back here on Saturday. And you get back here on Saturday, and we're going to win the whole damn thing. If you don't believe that, I swear to God, I'll give you off the rest of the year. You can go home. You can go home now. Okay? I don't care how many guys. I got to have 8 guys. All right? I got to have 8 guys. That's the league rule. But if anybody else doesn't want to come, all right, please go on vacation. But I know we're going to win. I know we're going to bust out tonight.
Adrian Dantley scored 46 points in a Game 5 victory. The Jazz would lose Game 6 and the series, but the team picked to finish last proved to the rest of the NBA that they had heart.
It was a good year. It's disappointing that it had to end this way, but unless you go all the way, it's going to end on a loss.
That one was really heartbreaking because I think we were as good as them, if not better, and we didn't quite perform at the end.
If Ricky makes that layup, do you think you win that series?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't want to put too much on Ricky. It was a great play, too. Frank designed a play. You don't get very many plays that get drawn up on the chalkboard that actually work. That one worked.
Next year is going to be a tough year because this is going to be a tough act to follow.
Had to start someplace, and the 83-84 team did that. They got credibility, and the community bought it.
I told him, I'm the only guy that you cut, Frank, and I hugged you when I left. I didn't want to leave. I mean, it was just that way. It just, you know, I just didn't want to leave. It was just a great atmosphere. It was just fun to be here.
To be a part of that year where we finally went from a doormat team to a team that was a playoff contending team, set the stage for what the Jazz became and the culture of the Jazz for many years forward.
And to come back now and to see the enormous development of the community and the team. And, I went to the practice facility for the first time and just was in awe because we used to practice at Westminster College, and you know, we thought we had a pretty good facility back then. But now it's just amazing to see where the franchises came in 30 years, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
It's a great feeling to kind of see that come together, and a better feeling to see it continue.
30 years later, they remember it was fun. And so I feel good about that.
Now I think we're going to have people want to play for the Jazz. It's going to be a privilege to play for the Jazz.